Good morning, all. Welcome to Rugby Chat for another week of fun and games and all that. I'm all here by myself this week, and hell, you know, what do we got to say? Super Rugby. We've got to talk about the sevens and a really cool new page to have a bit of a preview on. Mike won't be here today, but he will be in the comments at some point, I'm guessing. And, we had a few, how can I put it, exciting matches over the week. And pretty much nailed most of them. I noticed on the old Super Brew picks, we had 5 from 6, which was a bit of an issue, but oh well, so be it. But the good news is the mighty Canes are back this week. And but what we'll do is we'll just jump straight into it because I'm all here by my lonesome today. And so the Super Rugby. So we'll have a quick look at those results from last weekend. Huge match up there on Friday night between the Moana Pacifica and the Chiefs. Wow, 43-7 at half time. And the I don't know what happened then. The Chiefs, it looked like they were going to put up a ton, but they totally didn't even start playing until about the 48th minute. 84th minute, number dyslexia today. And they opened the door for Moana Pacifica. If they can sort out that first sort of half blues, I suppose you could call it, they could be doing a lot better than they have been, unfortunately. So, but we'll see how they go this weekend anyway when we get to it, but they've got a tough ask ahead. Then on Saturday, the Highlanders against the Reds. Well, the Highlanders had won the last 5 against the Reds in Dunedin, and but the Reds bounced back from their defeat against the Crusaders a couple of weeks ago, and they took a lot of heart from winning against the Waratahs last week and got up by 29 points to 23. And then the Blues, 19, the Crusaders, 42. 100% went for the Crusaders here. But really, did anyone expect that blowout score? There is some really deep soul-searching going on at the evil empire of the North. But I tell you what, listening to certain TV shows, they're still making out the Blues to be champions. I mean, come on, let's be realistic. They're not playing well, and you've got to actually start acknowledging that instead of from your TV studios in Auckland. But then we had the Waratahs and the Brumbies. Well, I'm going to say it. I said this would be the first Golden Point game of the round of the season. And at one point, I was sitting there at 21-18. I'm going, come on, Brumbies, get a penalty. But then, of course, the Waratahs went and scored that try. But then the Brumbies did come back. Now, my final pick for this game was 28-25 to the Waratahs when I said this last week. And so I'm going to take 28-23 as a win. If you disagree with me, throw it in the comments. But the Waratahs are looking good since I've picked up all those Rebel players. And then, of course, on Sunday, the hapless Drua. What do they have to do to buy a win over in when they're away from home there in Fiji? Because I think they're up to about number 19. I think they're up to about number 19 now in away losses. And yes, morning, Mike. If I was Vern Cotton, I would be totally concerned as well. If you want to see your comments, throw them up in the comments, post, and we'll see if we can answer your questions. But the Drua, they just, I don't know what's going on there. At home, brilliant. Away from home, absolutely useless. That's the only word I can say. I don't know if it's the travel. At the end of the day, a rugby field is the same size wherever you go. I thought they might have put up a bit of a better fight. I did have the Force winning this on my Super Brew picks, but yeah, and I only took them because of the poor away record for the Drua. So, hey, I'll be happy though. Other than the dropping the Highlanders match on Super Brew, I went 4 from 5. So I'm a happy camper. So anyhow, but that is where that is. And how does that affect the standings? Well, this week's cover person is the Waratah. But yeah, so if we have a quick look at the standings here, I'll just blow this up so we can all see it. We've got the Chiefs currently sitting there in first place with the Crusaders, Queensland Reds, Waratahs, Brumbies, and Western Force. Yep, you heard that correct. We've got 4 Australian teams, all the Australian teams, currently in the top 6. The Chiefs still have their bye to come, but the Crusaders and the Reds, they've all had their byes. It's absolutely crazy because, yeah, I mean, the Chiefs are making every post a winner, you could say, at the moment, sitting there on 22 points, with the Crusaders there ahead on point difference of 19. So they're well ahead after that big victory over the Blues. Then we all have as I said, the Waratahs sitting there pretty on 17, the Brumbies on 15, and the Force on 14 points. But then we have a look at the bottom 5 teams there, with the Highlanders sitting on 11. They're not out of the hunt yet. The Hurricanes, well, they had the bye last week, and they'll be back up for it this weekend to take on the Waratahs, who are, as I said, are currently in 4th place on 17 points, with the Hurricanes on 9. Even a bonus point victory, the Waratahs would still be above them on the table, but the Canes will have that game in hand, I believe. And now, of course, you've got the Blues, who are sitting there in 9th place, equal with the Fijian Drua, only ahead of them on point differential, and the hapless Moana Pacifica. If they can sort out their issues at the start, it would be a good start for them to actually make some inroads. But yeah, don't count out the Highlanders, Hurricanes, and Blues. We've got some big matches coming up this weekend. But the thing is, we've only got 4 matches coming up this weekend, people. Yeah, because this weekend we have the Blues, Chiefs, and Ndura having the bye. But this weekend it all kicks off at Sky Stadium, as I said, with the Hurricanes taking on the Waratahs. Now, this is going to be a huge matchup indeed, because it's sort of like, well, the week off would have done the Hurricanes really well. Get rid of a couple of niggly injuries and all that sort of stuff. They've got a few players coming back. We won't know the lineups, of course, until Wednesday, Thursday. But at home, the weather is meant to be okay, I believe, here in Wellington. So, yeah. Which way am I going to go? Well, there's only one way I'm going to go. And I'm sure Mike, if he's listening, will go the other way. But I'm definitely going to go the Hurricanes. If you disagree with me, throw it in the comments, as I said. Yeah, it's a case. Oops, I've just bumped my screen here. I'll go back to there. I was actually just trying to work out some stuff here. Of course, if you're watching us on YouTube as well, throw in your comments there as well. I'd much appreciate to hear what people have to say. So, anyway, Hurricanes, I'm going to say, because I've got to go on record saying it, of course, but I'll go the Hurricanes to win by 12 points. There we go, people. I'm going to make it 12 points to the Hurricanes over the Waratahs, but I think it might be a lot closer than that. The second match is straight after it, and that's over there in Canberra, and that is, of course, the Brumbies taking on the Highlanders. Now, the Highlanders need to bounce back. They need to find that early season form. The Brumbies back at home will be wanting to get their back on the pony. And of course, why not? I just try and find if I can find this comment. He is in Christchurch today. So, Waratahs, just to throw the spanner in the works. Well, what would you expect from a South Islander? But when we go to the Highlanders and the Brumbies, well, just to annoy Mike Sheehan here, I'm going to definitely go for the Brumbies here, back at home in cold Canberra, only because it's a home game. The Highlanders will still be hurting after that defeat by Queensland last weekend. But, yeah, it's definitely a test. Now, if the Highlanders do get up, wow, it will be an upset of the round. But I think back at home, the Brumbies, Stephen Larkham and company will definitely be giving the Highlanders a total run for their money. But it's sort of like, you look at these little images I got here. Ethan de Groot, he has to stand up in the front row. He's been owned by the Aussie front rowers at the moment, and so as I said, I'm definitely 100% going to go. I don't know why I keep on bumping my screen here, but oh well. I'm definitely going to go for the Brumbies, and of course, there's only one team that Mike will go, and he's going the Highlanders to win that game. We'll see, as they say. So anyway, then we go to, we have a bit, as I said, there's only 4 games on this weekend due to all the buys, but then we've got the Crusaders taking on Moana Pacifica. Wow. This could be lambs to the slaughter, as they say, because I can't see how the Moana team will combat a resurgent Crusaders side. But, we are expecting to see Artie back. But it is hard to think what the score's going to be here. I'm just going to say it, and I think the Crusaders are going to win by another 40 points, only due to the fact that it is at home, it is Saturday night, and of course, as soon as I say by 40, Mr. Sheehan saying he reckons by 50. Can Tana sort out this start of the game woes? I don't know. I think it's going to take more than a season to get this sort of sorted out with Moana Pacifica. I think it's going to be a bit of a bloodbath there. And I think the Pacifica team are going to get dealt to by, as I said, a very scary, strong Crusaders side. And that will end the round at 9:35 New Zealand time over there at Suncorp, with the Queensland Reds, who will be so confident after their win in Australia, and the Force. Well, they started off with a hiss and a roar, but they're coming back down. And our good friend Mike has got a good point that Kamara, who has been a bit of a worry, if I just quickly go back to our Crusaders thing here, he's a good young first 5, but he's missing a lot of important kicks, and it'll be interesting to see if they do start O'Connor on what do you call it, on Saturday night. So yeah. But anyway, as I said, jumping forward, and Saturday night, the final game of round 7, is the Reds taking on the Western Force, and I think the Reds will be far too strong. They'll have a vocal Suncorp crowd behind them, and I think the Western Force, I mean, if Donaldson and co play well, they could give them a run for their money. But to keep it on the even keel, I'm going to go the Reds to win by 10. Meanwhile, Mr. Mike Sheehan is going to go force. He reckons they're back on top of their game after the win against the Drua. But at this moment, anybody, including the under 12s, could probably beat the Drua if they were visiting. So, yeah, there's my thoughts there on where we could be on Saturday night. As I said, Mighty Hurricanes are back. A quick shout out too to Captain Hurricane, our good buddy Craig Werder. I hope you are still recovering well from your little incident about a month ago, and so yeah, it would be an interesting thing to see. Anyway, where everything stands at the end of this round, because as I said, we do have the bye this week. The Drua, the Blues, and the Chiefs all going to be standing on the sidelines watching what's going on. So for all those Blues fans, they can get along to a Warriors game, and the Drua can sit back and watch the Sevens from Hong Kong, and the Chiefs, well, I'm sure they'll be just still out there training their hearts out. So, but anywho's what else do we have to? So that's our look at the games this week. As I said, it is interesting to have 4 buys, but 3 buys out of it. That's a quarter of the competition not playing, having the week off. And as I said, the Brumbies, Highlanders, with the Brumbies, they have their bye next week, so they'll be throwing everything at it, and so they can have a bit of a break, and then come back the following week. But what else is on this weekend? I hear you say, and of course, what we have is the Sevens. Yep, the Hong Kong Sevens are back in a brand new stadium over there at Kuala Long. I think it's called, in Hong Kong. They're expecting a record crowd, beautiful new indoor stadium there in Hong Kong. I mean, we can all picture the Hong Kong Sevens at the Valley, and but the New Zealand men, they will kick off on a Friday night at 10:30 against the Australians. So that's a tough battle there. Normally, you would say New Zealand against Uruguay. Easy peasy. Uruguay beat them, if you remember, in the last round. And then, of course, they have to come up against the South Africans. So it will be really, really interesting to see how the men take part here, because they really need to sort out their game. And there's no better place to do it than in, of course, Hong Kong. So a couple of late night and then early morning games, but then of course that good game against South Africa is on at 6:43. Those times there are New Zealand times. So if you're watching from overseas, just check your local guides, as they say. Then we've got the amazing Black Ferns. Well, they're making every post a winner at the moment. They are up against the China Sevens women's team. That's on at 10:07 on Friday night. So after watching a few of the Super Rugby games there, we can all start tuning in and watch a couple of Sevens matches from Hong Kong. The second game for them will be at just before 1 o'clock on Saturday morning against a strong USA Sevens team. So that'll be an interesting match. And then at 6 o'clock on Saturday, they will be playing the Brazilian women. So some awesome stuff there to look out for as we move forward this weekend for all the games. So other games on this weekend, of course, I don't actually, I might have the draw in front of me. So if you just like to bear with me for a half a second, I'll just see if I can bring that up. Because what we do have next to have a quick look at is, of course, if I can find my screen here we go, is the Super Rugby All-Peki. That's on again. And this weekend we've got the Blues taking on Matatu on Saturday at 2:05, and the Hurricane Power is taking on the Chiefs Manawa at 4:35. So if we have a quick look at these tables here, it's as I said, it's not looking good for the Hurricanes at the moment. They 0-4, just a very young team really, and the Chiefs will be hoping to keep their title hopes alive. But of course, that big game, the Blues versus Matatu, is going to be huge. The winner here could take the lead, but Matatu would need to get a 5-pointer and literally destroy the Blues to get ahead of them on bonus points. So, and not allow the Blues a bonus point. But the Blues are looking good with Portia Woodman and company. So it would be an interesting weekend of a rugby from the girls over there at Super Rugby or Picky. Right, what else do we have? I'll just see if I can get rid of what I'm doing here, people. Here we go. So otherwise, what else have we got? We have got, rugby as we know it is dead after the pathetic superhero debacle. Plus, it's more looking like league every day. Real rucks and mauls almost existent. Scrums are a joke. Well, that is from the roadie. Yes, Mike. Yep, the roadie is having a good crack at that. Totally agree, but luckily we don't have to worry about those shirts anymore, and we can move on. What else we got happening around the world? San Diego Legion and the Major League Rugby don't have any graphics for that. They're still keeping every post. The winner being unbeaten there, over there in America in the Major League Rugby. Of course, can't go by without saying, because I was there 16 years ago at Wellington Stadium for the game against Bahrain. Awesome to see the New Zealand All Whites qualifying for the third World Cup. This will be my third one watching them. Totally remember the game in Singapore when they beat, I think it was China or Kuwait, one of the two, and on an artificial turf to qualify for Spain. Then, of course, we qualified for South Africa, ended up being unbeaten. Now they get to go to the huge money spinner that it is where they've got 1,000 teams playing at the next World Cup. But it's awesome to see that Oceania finally have an automatic qualification. That should have happened years ago. But otherwise, any other housekeeping to do? What I've been doing? 25 minutes, as I said, short and sharp one today. I will show you guys a new Facebook page. There we go. The Might of Red and White. Now, I am a huge supporter of West Coast Rugby. And I've basically set up this page to bring you all the results, all the club results, all the provincial results for West Coast. And all we're really asking is to come on over and have a look at what we are doing there and giving us a bit of a like, because, when news comes out, congratulations to Jared Mitchell on getting the head coach's job there for 2025. A boy from Hokitika doing the business. But yeah, we'll bring you all the Crusader news, because West Coast is part of the Crusaders. And of course, it's interesting because, like we've got here, this content is unavailable at the moment. There are some factions around that will try and block stuff, which is a shame, or block people, which is a shame. But we'll sort all them people out later. But otherwise, it's a interesting scenario, too deep to go into. But what we are going to be doing is we are going to be bringing a bit of a competition for the Jubilee Trophy, where you can actually be in line to win a few prizes, etc. Because why not? Everyone likes a good prize, and yeah, I think that would be quite a good comp to be in. And as I said, if you want to follow what's going on, join the others that have joined us, and yeah, would appreciate all your support. So yeah, good luck to the Mitre Red and White in 2025 and to all the West Coast club teams. So Mike has a shout out to the Southern Stags seniors for beating Kaiapoi on Saturday and putting up the Cool Trans Cup in the cabinet for the season. And of course, the Luceti Seeds competition starts there down south this weekend. We did have other competitions starting around New Zealand. We had, who did we have all kicking off? We had Horowhenua Kapiti. We had, I did have a few results floating around somewhere, but everything's starting to kick off with the club rugby season. So all we can say is get down to your club, support your clubs, and yeah, that's pretty much it for me. Poor old Mike and Rhodey are having a good old tate in the chat, but as I said, stay tuned on Mitre Red and White, and of course on the Buller Rugby page as well, because they're having the combined Jubilee Trophy this year. So keep an eye out for that, and I'm sure I could talk to the guys at Buller to put up a few prize packs as well for the season. But if you'd like to head over and give us a bit of a like there, that would be great. But otherwise, that is pretty much it for another day. Half an hour of me bleating on. As I said, only 4 games on really in Super Rugby this week. Go the Mighty Canes, and we'll catch up with you all maybe later in the week if we have any more breaking news. And of course, we will end with the sad note about Grizz Wiley. Rest in peace, Grizz. You put a massive impact on New Zealand rugby, and you will be sorely missed. A great innings, 80, and yeah, I mean, enough's been said already around the traps, but yeah, no, it was awesome watching how he brought us the game of rugby, a game that we are hopefully going to get back to one day. So until next time, we'll catch us all later. Cheerio.